So one key point, I've said this a few times, these mind melder people, the mind melders, they don't talk about this tech. The reason they don't talk about it is when they have a terrorist plot to use this tech involving implantation and harvesting from people's brains via synthetic telepathy through this implantable device. They also use it for covert abuse. They use it for betting manipulation, economic espionage, financial crimes. So they make a living with this tech. It's their source of finance, and they're criminals. And they have this terrorist plot, and some may even be tied to some take over the world bet or something. So they rely on this tech, and they need it for their bets. They manipulate. They need it for survival. So they don't talk about this tech. So one, if they claim Jayanty's psychotic, the mind melders aren't real. Ask them, then why were you trying to claim he was a mind melder and trying to frame him? If they're not real. Explain that concept, and then trying to report him to law enforcement and make up stories about him harvesting from people's brains via telepathy. One, two, yeah, mind melders don't talk about the tech because they use it for survival. They use it for betting manipulation. They use it for robbery, covert abuse. They use it for witness tampering covertly. They use it for political, legal, financial, and other agendas to discredit key witnesses. And that's how they make a living. And they're just repulsive scum who are also these power demons and are power hungry and power mongers. And they get pleasure from abusing human life covertly. So, and trying to make people look psychotic. They love that shit. They're fucking crazy. No respect for human life, like I've been saying. But yeah, the people who deny the existence of this, when you see them with that tech, those are the mind melders. But the way you know I was never a mind melder is because the first I got implanted like late 17, early 2018. Didn't even know I was implanted. Didn't even know implantation, something like that existed. And then I started figuring stuff out and analyzing because at first I thought it was my neighbors. Then I thought it was frequency interference and some backwards tap on my phone. Then I thought it was, I read a Wired article magazine. Then I thought it was like a hypersonic and microwave auditory effect. Then came across a globalresearch.org article and started reading about these neural implants. Then I was like, well, I never got any surgeries. How did a neural implant get in my brain? Then I theorized some mechanism. And someone said, you mean like implantation? So that's what I started calling. But yeah, basically, and then one day I was looking at the wall next to my bathroom and then pondering the amount of space between atoms in a solid. And then I started thinking either this implantation works with very small particles in some sort of nano to femto manufacturing like process, or there's some physics process that I can't explain. But it's real. I can assure you, they got all sorts of tactics and techniques. But yeah, it's some sort of nano to femto manufacturing like process. It's some manufacturing process. I'm not sure how it works. I was calling it ion beam implantation and nano to femto manufacturing like process, like late 2018, early 2019. But yeah, mind melders don't talk about the existence, psychiatry, witness tampering, discrediting political, legal, and financial opponents. Key point. So that's how you know I was never one of these mind melder shitbags. I've been talking about this since I theorized this implantation and tried to theorize something. And ever since I figured out telepathy was real, I've been telling my parents about it on a regular basis, and my brother and other people. So that's how you know I was never one of these shitbags. Because right when I figured it out, I wasn't keeping it secret so I could manipulate bets or use it for theft. I was exposing it. And I don't shut up about it because I'm a victim of these shitbags who I guess try to keep it secret, and they're all bent out of shape because I exposed this implantation jazz and telepathy jazz. Some of them are investors in this technology, so they've been trying to abuse me into silence with it so they can bring it into reality, but they don't even ponder how long it would take to study the health hazards and health concerns involved with implantation or long-term telepathy. So they don't even ponder that, and they have this idea they're going to be billionaires and trillionaires creating a company in real life and implant people, and everyone's going to have a neural implant and have telepathy, but they don't even ponder how long it would take to research the health hazards involved with this tech and using this tech on someone's brain long term, such as having an implant that has telepathy for a lifetime. It would probably take a lifetime to study. So that's what I was trying to explain to these people. Studying this tech, may not even, the research into the health hazards and consequences of it may not even be done. I've said it numerous times on Twitter and elsewhere until years after you're dead. I mean, you don't have to just worry about cancer. You have to worry about conduction disturbances and all sorts of neurological conditions, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all sorts of jazz. So they haven't even pondered these things, and that's a piece of this. But a lot of these people are some of the people who I guess rely on this tech are some of the terrorists holding me hostage and have been trying to abuse me into silence about it for a while. So that's a key point. But yeah, that's how you know I was never one of these mind melder shitbags. And I've actually been exposing these people because I've been stealing my intellectual property for a really long time. Some of these people have been stealing from me since 2009, is what I'm finding out, with telecommunications, crimes, and cyber terrors. Then they've been stealing from me since late 2017 into 2018, and more so 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. They literally stalk me and monitor me 24/7. So look for those guys. Those are some of the guys. Look for people stalking me and monitoring me 24/7. Many of them are some of the key people harvesting my data via synthetic telepathy. Via synthetic telepathy, bet my life. So it uploads to a computer. Thoughts that come to awareness upload to a computer in a DARPA modem for the mind like fashion as typed text. Sometimes it uploads to like some system where it comes out as a voice on the speaker. And they control the voice, the tone, the rate of the output of that key point, like I always say. So that's one of their perception manufacturing tactics, one of their tactics to sell a false um, impression of my internal, for example. As I would say over a long period of time, I used to say that when I'd be lying in bed, they're trying to sell a false impersonation, a false presentation of my internal through manipulating rates, volumes, tones, things of that nature. If you've heard that, if you know where this speaker is, but that's a key point. So that's one of their perception. But that's a key point. So that's one of their perception manufacturing tactics as well. But yeah, so don't fall for their bullshit. I've said this a few times, but that's one way you know I was never one of these mind melder shitbags, and I'm the victim of them. I've been tipping people off about this technology since mid to late 2018 and into 2019. So key point. And I was the first one to write this DOJ letter about what I'm a victim of and more, and terrorism, etc., dissemination of COVID using implantation like processes, etc., etc. Praise Jesus.